Do you want to learn the tarot without memorizing meanings, without the aid of hermeticism, without using astrological signs, planets, signs, whatever? Do you just want to read the tarot and forget about what other people said? In this video, I'm going to show you how. I'm Cesar from 78 Puertas, and today I'm going to talk to you about the tarot open reading. This way of reading the cards, what it's called the open reading of the tarot, leads us to free the mind and go from the whole or the totality of the deck to the details in the cards. That is, unlike the traditional approach, where depending on the position, it would be relevant to give an interpretation to each card one by one and thus obtain the final answer. The open reading suggests that during it, the cards can take on a different relevance or another meaning during the reading. Nothing is fixed. For this type of reading, we take 3 cards from the deck and read them as an, let's say, as ascending story, from left to right, unless the cards themselves make us reading them the other way around, which is also possible. The open reading is mainly based in 3 aspects. Number 1, a tarot card does not have a fixed meaning that we have to learn by heart. The meaning emerges when we look at the card in combination with others. That is, you don't need to memorize meanings. There are no keywords. There are no astrological signs. There are no planets, no hermeticism, no nothing. Just the cards, just the images of the cards. We know that this card is the Emperor, okay? Someone told us that this card is assigned or attributed to Aries, okay? But do you really need to know if Aries has anything to do in this spread? No! And that's what the open readings provides to all of us freedom to see what we see in the cards. Number 2, the definition of each position of the card in the spread is also not fixed. Depending on the combination of the arcana that is on the table, we will obtain a different message, a different spread. That is, we see this woman and this man, and here in the middle we have these 2 of cups, so we can say cups, emotions, attributions, maybe, okay, relationship, 2 people, 2 cups, 1 per person, love, a pair, a couple, relationship, good. The woman is looking at it. The man is looking at it. So we can say right from the start that there may be a relationship here. But what happens if we change the order? Is this the representation of a relationship? The man is looking away from the relationship. The man is looking away from the woman. The woman is looking away from the relationship and also from the man. So I wouldn't dare to say that this is the representation of a relationship. And you? Let's see. Let's go now for the last aspect. Let's go for number 3. Number 3, we don't start the reading with the first card. On the contrary, we begin by getting a general comprehension of the entire spread and an overview, a bird's eye if you want. We focus on the totality and afterwards we dive into it. We dive into the details. We pay attention at this scepter, which is alike like this scepter, so these people have something in common. They both are crowned. and so on. The shield, the eagle, and so on. And then we also have this card. Depending on the spread, we will see different details, different stuff, different directions, different glances, different movements, different rhythms. It's all in the cards. But first, a general comprehension, and then we dive into the details. Okay? Good. What advantages does the Tarot Open Reading offer to us? The main practical advantage of the points that I mentioned before is that you don't have to learn the meanings by heart. It all comes from learning to look at the cards, and you have eyes, so you can look. You can see what's happening in the cards. You just have to look, pay attention if you want, and after that, name what is happening on the cards. The cards that you have right in front of your nose, right beneath your eyes. When you read the cards, you pay attention to the details. You name what's happening after looking at what's going on. Therefore, you can forget about meanings, and you can look for messages. You can look for information, because that's what we all want when we make a tarot reading. We ask a question, we need an answer. The answer comes from the meanings. No, the answer comes from the cards, the information in the cards. We are therefore interested in the messages that each card gives us in that moment when we look at the spread. Here in the open reading, the meaning of each card by itself is less important than the whole message of the spread. We must grasp their meanings by looking at them in a process that involves both our conscious mind and our subconscious. Why do we say that each reading is a unique event in time? What works for one reading does not have to work for another one. It all lies in our ability to look at the cards, analyze what's going on, and transform that information into words. Or to name, as I said before, what we name is what we see happening here in the cards. And exactly the same applies to the layout of the cards in the spread. It is not established in advance. Someone may say this is the pros, this is the cons, this is the result, or past, present, future, or yes, no, advice, or whatever. It doesn't work like this in the open reading. There are times when all the information that we are going to see is going to be past. And there are times when it will be all of it will all be future. And sometimes all of it will be a warning to avoid doing something, or on the contrary, information on what to do. So let's not cut our freedom, but use it. Let's use our freedom. There are times when a reading is done the same way we read the written words, that is, from left to the right. But there are also occasions when we find that the cards themselves invite us to read them backwards, that is, from the right to the left. Sometimes, as I said, everything will be past, and other times everything will be future. This is precisely the magic of the Tarot Open reading. We can say that it is alive, because in each reading we do in each of our sessions, everything happens here and now. A few minutes before or after, the conditions are different, and the result will also be different. The next time you ask the same question to your tarot deck, you will get different cards. And the next time that the same cards show up in the same order, it will be for a different question, for a different context. That's why each tarot reading is a unique event in time, and thus is totally useless trying to memorize, to keep in the corner of your mind what a single card spread meant in that particular tarot reading that you made time ago, because what you did in the past might not be the same that what you're reading today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.